no longer as simple as just clicking one button. Awesome. All right, welcome everybody. We're trying to get started here and be respectful of everybody's time. Try to be done and work at the same time, and I've got people in the waiting room. So today, as you know, we usually like to do this webinar to sort of go over what to expect with the upcoming state FFA convention and activities week in 2 weeks. For anybody that has not brought students previously, this is a great opportunity to sort of get a feel for what to expect and sort of get it on your radar, where you need to go as far as check-in and registration and so forth. And for those of you that have brought students, you know, there's a few minor, nothing terribly major, but a few minor updates and changes of things that'll be different for this year. So we're going to go over those as well. With me today is Mattie Dutrow with Penn State College of Ag Short Courses and Mike Brammer with Pennsylvania FFA. And the three of us are going to take turns sort of going over what we need to expect and any changes that will be new for this year. Again, we're going to cover everything from what to expect when you arrive, parking for vans, as well as larger vans and buses, in locations, where you can prepare your students to catch a bus if they are on a CDE or LDE that needs to be transported somewhere, where our dining hall locations are going to be, and sort of the recommended procedure to follow for checking out on Thursday morning after session. Arrival and check-in. We're going to, well, hold on, let me go back a little bit. So, arrival and check-in. We are once again in East Halls for lodging, and I'm going to switch gears here and pull up the campus map. Everybody see the map now? Question mark?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so there we're once again in the East Halls complex, which is this whole deal here. Registration is once again going to be in Findlay Commons, as it traditionally is whenever we're in East. Mattie has some maps of this a little bit later, but this parking lot area is where you're going to want to pull in to come in and register in Findlay. I pull up the bigger campus map because sometimes folks like to use some of these side lots, and first of all, you can't guarantee that on any given day at any given moment Penn State parking won't give you a ticket for being in any of those lots, and surely you cannot leave your vehicles parked in those lots. Again, we strongly recommend and suggest that you come into one of these two lots along Park Avenue when you arrive. If you do choose to park in one of these side lots and smaller lots around the East Halls complex, we can't guarantee you won't get a ticket, and you certainly cannot leave your vehicle there. Right? So,
And we can't help you if you do get a ticket.
Sure. Unfortunately, that's there's nothing that we can do in that case. So back to our PowerPoint. We're in East Halls, and Mattie, do you want to cover which buildings are going to house which gender?
Sure. So right now they think the males are going to be in Curtin, Packer, Penny Packer, Tenor. Female dorms will be Bigler, Geary, McKean, Pinjo, Brumbaugh. Those are all in East Hall. So you saw that on the map. Not in South this year. Everybody is going to be housed in East.
So housing is going to be in East, but unfortunately, I like to joke that FFA convention only gets everything it wants on a 5-year rotation. So we'll cover meals in a second. One important note, which if you have a small engines team entered this year, typically this is an off-campus event where you come in and put your engine and toolbox into the U-Haul by that those parking lot areas by East Halls along Park Avenue. This year, we're going to try something new. We're going to keep this event on campus. So this is going to, the event itself is going to be held in the Ag and Bioengineering building. There's a couple of quote shop areas in that newly renovated building that we believe when are cleared out enough, we'll have enough space to accommodate that event. I'm going to have signs on either end of Park Avenue, or not Park Avenue, on either end of Shortledge Road, both at Shortledge and Park Avenue, as well as Shortledge and Curtin Road, directing to this area, and then a sign pointed into the little parking lot, which I'm going to show you here on the map in a second. So we should have the map back again. So all of the action for registering your students and getting your keys and welcome packets and all that is going to happen in East Halls and Findlay Commons. Either before you do that or after you do that, the choice is yours, before you move your van or wherever to its permanent storage location, either in East Deck or one of the larger vehicle lots. You're going to need to either drive down Park Avenue here and turn onto Shortledge, or you can come down Bigler or turn on the Curtin from the parking lot areas here. But one way or another, you're going to need to come over here to the Ag Engineering building. Again, I'm going to have a sign right here and another sign right here pointing down the street, and then another sign right here, because this is the parking lot that you're going to want to pull into to unload your engine and toolboxes. And if I'm looking correctly, I believe it's going to be that garage door bay will be open, and somebody will be there to check in your engine and toolboxes, and then it will be stored safely in a locked building from that point on for the use for the rest of the contest. Now, the same is going to be true for picking your engine up on Thursday morning before you leave. Somebody will be there with the list to check off and ensure that the appropriate school is getting the appropriate engine and toolbox. At some point before you leave, you're going to need to come back into this little parking area, and it's either this one or this one, I don't remember it. One of these garage doors will be open, and this is where you will pick your engine and toolbox up before you leave. So we're going to save money on not having to rent the U-Haul, as well as not bus students to that event, and not buy box lunches for another event. So we're going to give it a try this year and see how it goes. And if it works, fantastic. Maybe we have a plan moving forward. And if it does not, we're going back to having this out of Ag Progress Day. And I see there's some questions in the chat. Maybe we can answer these at this point. Yes.
So that first one, John, about parking while you get checked into East Halls for kids to unload their luggage, that's fine in that lot 82. I would recommend putting your flashers on. And then once you get everybody unloaded, make sure you move that vehicle over to East Deck or out to Porter North if it's a larger vehicle.
Absolutely. they'd say 15 minutes with your flashers on. We do ask that, you do try to move as speedily as possible with getting your materials and clearing the lot out for other schools' vehicles to come in. But in all reality, if it takes 17 minutes or 25 minutes, you're okay. But just
Yeah, no one's gonna sit there and like time you. But yeah, try to, keep it moving for everybody else.
early morning and then later in the morning isn't so bad, but when the big rush comes mid-morning, space does get a little tight. So if you can do that check-in, grab your packet, distribute your keys process as quickly as possible, and then move your vehicle, it's greatly appreciated. Especially, so I got to reiterate, and I'll get to Darla and Alex's question in a second, but let me just pull the map up again and see there's folks waiting to come in. This is a problem that we've run into for a couple years. And again, at 97% of you do exactly as we ask you to do, and it's fine. But this parking lot is the bus loading and unloading area for Wednesday CDEs that are off campus. And all too often, school vans, school vehicles get left in these spaces. And it really, really creates a problem. If this lot is completely clear, the buses can come in and form two lines, and we can fit the necessary number of buses into that lot Wednesday morning that we need to. But when there's random vehicles occupying these spaces and we can't form two lines of buses, it really causes a backup, and sometimes out on the Park Avenue, and then the parking office and the transportation people get angry and we hear about it. So I beg you, please, 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 do not try to leave your vehicles in this lot permanently. Like they either need to, we'll cover parking in a second, but don't leave them like this. Really, really, really interrupts the flow of Wednesday morning.
And same thing for Thursday. Like if you want to pick your kids up Thursday in that lot with their luggage, that's fine. It's not a big walk over to East, but if you want to park there with your hazards on Thursday to get them loaded out, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Just don't leave it there.
So Darla and Alex, the answer, Darla, is yes. Unless for whatever reason the chairs have any issue with engines or toolboxes leaving there on Wednesday. Honestly, it's easier on me the quicker they get out of there, because then it's one less thing to worry about. You can always coordinate with me if you'd like to pick your engine up before Thursday morning. And there will probably, I can't how late on Wednesday there will be. There will be somebody there. As long as people are still there from the event on Wednesday, you can absolutely grab your engine toolbox if you're fine with it hanging out in the van until you leave. Absolutely. And then Alex, I would say I don't have this necessarily set in stone, but I'm gonna have somebody there probably by 8 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, until hopefully the last engine is gone, which should be shortly, either prior to session or shortly after session on Thursday. I think whomever that's going to be would prefer to not be there all day long Thursday. So again, if we can kind of have the goal of getting your engine toolbox there as quickly as possible on Tuesday morning, and getting it as early and quickly on Thursday morning as possible, or before Thursday, like Darla asked, that would be great. All right. moving along back to the PowerPoint. Anybody have any other questions about, parking and, location of the engine drop off, which is gonna be something new this year. So there's not gonna be a U-Haul in that parking lot that you're looking for. You're actually gonna get a bioengineering building to that lot that I indicated, to drop those off. And, oh, it's 30 minutes. Okay, so parking and unloading to get your registration and, dorm materials covered, and here's some other maps of that. Mattie, do you want to talk about, parking for vans and buses?
Yeah, so if you're not aware, the stadium's getting renovated right now. You can see on that map there the yellow areas that designates construction zones. Generally, they used to park in Stadium West. This year, due to construction, they are going to be in Porter North. That is on the opposite side of the stadium from campus. It is out next to the baseball field, between the baseball field and the meat slab. And there'll be a sign that says Porter North.
And so that's for any school vans that don't fit in the garage, which I used to have the dimensions for that on here, and I don't know if I still do, but if your van won't fit in East Deck, or you have an overnight bus that's coming and staying, for the duration of convention, that's where those vehicles will need to go.
I think the clearance I just looked is 7 feet 6 inches.
Most school vans will fit in there unless they have signs on the top of them, which most don't have signs on the top of them anymore. But if you do have a sign on top, it may not fit. But if it doesn't, it should fit.
Most school vans that come fit, but there are some exceptions for those taller, skinnier ones. I know we've had issues in the past. It's only like 3 of them maybe that are cutting it pretty close, but most of your typical vans would fit.
Mattie, do you want to cover parking passes now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So it's going to be similar to last year. It's not going to be a physical pass. It's going to be a code. They now have license plate scanners at parking. That's how they determine if you're parked correctly. We understand that you might not know your license plate ahead of time. We'll have reminders of the parking instructions on site at registration if that's something you need to do then. I'll have the actual instructions and codes hopefully by Friday. So we will get it out ahead of time. You basically have an account, you log in, will give you a code. It'll automatically be valid for East Deck and Porter North. It's pretty simple. You put in your license plate number and you're good to go. It's already pre-designated with your lots and the days that it's valid. So depending on whether you registered for a 3-day pass or a 1-day pass, that will be the instructions that you get.
And the same is going to be true for CDE, LDE judge passes, Mattie, correct?
Yes.
So
Yep.
that information is on its way. No need to stress. Again, your judges can do that the morning of. After
Yeah.
arrived on campus, they can park somewhere temporarily.
It doesn't take that long. It's pretty straightforward. We've been through it before. We'll have the instructions for you. We can help you with it if needed, but it's been pretty simple. And like I said, it's not physical passes anymore. It goes off your license plate. That's how they scan and make sure that you're in the right spot. So what you signed up for will translate to your instructions, will translate to you being in the right spot, not getting a ticket.
All right, coming up, as I already mentioned, some of bus loading and unloading for CDEs and LDEs. So another key difference this year that you should make note of if you're not already aware Sessions will be in Eisenhower Auditorium where they traditionally used to be prior to the use of the Bryce Jordan Center. So the orientation session on Tuesday included will be at Eisenhower Auditorium. And as you're aware, some CDEs do go off-site on Tuesday afternoon, immediately following that session. So the bus pickup for those CDEs will be along Eisenhower Road, which is the road that runs right adjacent to Eisenhower Auditorium. And there's a map of that coming up. But as I already mentioned, the bus loading and unloading for CDEs off campus on Wednesday will be up in that lot by East Halls along Park Avenue by Hastings Hall. So we'll take a quick look at the maps of that. So again, that lot 82, where you came in to drop students off on Tuesday morning and come into Finley Commons and get your registration packets and so on, will be where the buses pick up and drop off on Wednesday. And down here, if you can see my mouse cursor moving, this is Eisenhower Auditorium where you will be coming for the orientation session on Tuesday at what time, Mike?
12:30.
12:30. So you'll be here 12:30 to 12:45, 1 o'clock the latest. And the buses that are taking students off campus will be lined up right along Eisenhower Road, right outside the auditorium building. So again, if the past few years, you recall, buses came to the Bryce Jordan Center, it will be the same deal for those CDEs, except it'll be at Eisenhower Auditorium this year. One key note that we should make note of, public speaking events or public speakers, because they were so far away from Willard Building, where most of the public speaking events take place, though they have traditionally been bused from the Bryce Jordan Center to Willard Building. But since this year's at Eisenhower, it's just a short walk down Shortridge Road and then sort of past the hub a little bit. We are not busing speakers this year. Okay. We will still be busing floriculture, horse judging, livestock, and I'm sure we're getting some others, but public speakers should be prepared to walk from Eisenhower to Willard Building. Anybody else have anything on that?
Just one thing on the buses. I think in past years, we haven't really had too many chaperones that ride the bus, and that's important to make sure that if you are going to an off-campus CDE, that there are chaperones available for those kids on the buses as well.
Great point. And so that's more of a CDE, LDE chair matter. And I think we have Alex has arranged for a CDE, LDE chairperson meeting next week.
It's this week, John.
Thursday. So we'll be sure to drive that point home again. But as the CDE chairperson, it is your responsibility to sort of take a look at the number of students on your list and the number of people that you have in your committee, and make sure that there's, we'll talk about the chaperone ratio policy coming up. But that 1-to-10 ratio extends to buses as well. So you need to, and if you need additional personnel, like please try to look ahead, and like planning is the key here, folks. If you're going to need additional personnel to meet that requirement on the buses, let us know. I can't magically pull people out of thin air, but like the sooner we know that, the sooner we can try to get you help for that. Okay, dining halls, Mattie, do you know these are all correct times?
Yeah, so like John said, we didn't get everything we wanted this year due to renovations in East dining halls. We're going to be eating in Pollock this year. We'll show you on the map where it is, but it is smaller than East. If everybody shows up all at once, it's going to be overflowing. They're not going to let you in. There's going to be a wait. They have directed all of the summer students and people traditionally on campus to use Redifer instead. They would like to keep our group in Pollock. So the lunch times are same as last year. But and I don't know how we really like designate a time for you, but just kind of be aware that it's might be tight. If everyone shows up all at once, there's not going to be room for everybody. Another reminder about chaperones, you can have 10 kids for one chaperone, and this will be enforced when you come to the dining hall. We understand it's sometimes not convenient, it's frustrating, it maybe doesn't make sense to you. We get it. But at the same time, our office is not responsible for making the rules. That is at a university level for all youth programs, but we do have to enforce it. So please just be considerate and kind to our staff, to our student helpers when we ask you to chaperone your kids and not exceed the 10 students per chaperone requirement. So, like I said, we get it. It's the same thing every year. We have problems with it every year. People get mad, people get grumpy. Like I said, we get it, but it's the rule. We have to enforce it. And don't say you didn't know, because here it is.
Mattie, are we not using Redifer at all?
I think it's available if we absolutely need. They have asked me to direct people to Pollock, is how it was worded to me.
Okay, we can do that, but just know that it's going to be a problem. I mean, even with the times being spread out, we have a record number of attendance this year
Yeah.
that's registered to be there. And it's
Yeah.
that will be a major problem trying to get everybody into Pollock, even in the window of times that we have
I
a
have
lot.
stressed that to them and I asked them for capacity. The capacity of Pollock is only 800. So we have
Exactly.
1,800 kids registered. So I have made them aware. I have stressed that. And their direction to me is to direct people to Pollock. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been told. But yes, it's going to be tight. I think we may have to use Redifer as in past years. So please just try to be patient, understanding. We want all your kids to eat on time and get fed and get where they need to be. We're doing the best we can with what we've been given.
I saw Mike address the question in chat. I responded to people individually, but one I can address as the group. There are certain situations in which a public speaker is involved in another event, or I can't really think of another scenario, but if you do have a student that is involved in multiple events and they have to finish one and then get to the other one, I'll have the van as usual. I'm more than happy if you coordinate with me. My phone number is plastered on pretty much everything that goes out with this event. Just coordinate with me. I'm more than happy to pick your student up and get them from one event to the other. Such as the situation with a public speaker, also in floriculture. If you can just sort of coordinate with me, I can coordinate with chairs as well, but when they let me know that student A is done speaking contest and they can go on to the floriculture event, I'll gladly assist in getting them from point A to point B and from one event to the other. Again, it just takes recognition in advance and planning to see if that's going to be an issue. And I will do my very best to help out in those cases. So as Mattie just covered, the dining hall is.
You can see it kind of on the map there with the little spoon and fork insignia. Eisenhower's that round building there. East parking deck and East halls is at the upper left-hand corner of the map there.
So it is a jaunt up and down the hill a little bit, but if it works out and coordinate your group to walk down to dinner prior to sessions, and then not too far to walk up to Eisenhower, and then go back up to East Halls for the evening. And I think it's appropriate time to mention, if you are in an on-campus CDE again this year for Wednesday, on-campus CDE or LDE, you will be having lunch in the dining commons again. Box lunches are only going to off-campus events that ride a bus somewhere else other than main campus. There are a select few number of CDEs that are still on campus that either due to sheer volume or their proximity to the dining hall are getting box lunches, but those folks have already been communicated with and know who they are. If you're not one of them, your FFA members will be going with their CDE to the dining hall for lunch on Wednesday afternoon. Okay, and now we've made it through Tuesday and Wednesday, and everybody's happy and excited from 2 days of awesomeness and getting ready to go home. So so this actually brings up another great point. If your chapter is bringing a scrapbook, that will be left in Finley Commons. I believe it's room 122, where FFA headquarters is. That's where the scrapbooks will be left and judged, as we did last year. So my biggest things for checkout, and then I'll let Mattie and Mike add to this. It was sort of a fluke last year that the results were done in record time Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and we're going to cross every single body part we have that it happens exactly that way or sooner this year. And it just so happened that it worked out that I could be at the Bryce Jordan Center, where you go in and out to hand out results packets. So I am already anticipating that the same will be true for this year, and I am planning to be in the lobby of Eisenhower Auditorium. So please, 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 I know you got you got to make sure you got your students, you got to make sure nobody forgot anything, but please remember to stop by and don't leave without stopping to see me to get your results packet. It's a real hassle to take all those that are left over, which again, last year being at Bryce Jordan Center, only left us with like 5 or 6. But please stop and get your results packet and for me in the lobby of Eisenhower. Also, don't forget your scrapbook over in 122 Finley Commons. Those you can go right in, pick it up, and or send a student in, pick it up, and be on your way. There's no official checkout procedure for that. Of course, get your medications from the nurse. But my biggest things are, don't forget to get your results packet from me. Don't forget to pick up your scrapbook from FFA headquarters in Finley Commons. And if you have a small engine team, make sure you stop over to Ag and Bioengineering and go in and pick your engine toolbox up again. Mattie and Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
No, just that the key cards don't expire until 2 p.m. this year. I think it used to be noon. We did get it extended to 2. And yes, meals are on the key cards as well.
Excellent. So there's no need to turn those cards back in at the end. They just expire like a hotel card, correct?
So there one more thing that I see that there's a question: is there a comprehensive list of locations of CDEs? So something we're going to try to do a little different this year. The program will have it'll have the competitive events listed with times, which we're already finding out are incorrect because things are changing again at the very last minute. We did not put in the program any locations of the events. There is in the programs a QR code, and if you scan that QR code with your phones, you'll find a live document that if we have any changes whatsoever in locations, that document will be updated immediately. So it will be up to date every single minute of the day. It's a chart. If you look at it, there's columns in it for Tuesday and Wednesday, what their students are supposed to be doing, if they're in a one-day event, where they should be, if they're only in a one-day event, all that kind of stuff. So again, QR code, as soon as you get the program, have them scan that. Students can scan it as well, and they'll be able to see that document so that they know exactly where it is that they're supposed to be going. Mark Anderson, last year there were massive problems with room key cards. Are we anticipating any issues this year? Mattie, any comments?
Well, I hope not, but you know, it's possible. Getting the rooming list out, you know, keeping them, telling kids not to put them right next up to their phone like you would when you go to the hotel. That sometimes helps a little bit, I think. I know that this is most likely going to be the last year with room key cards. They're planning to move to a wristband in the future. So we have that to look forward to. You know, I'll definitely note it and send it to housing, but well, I hope that doesn't happen this year. You know, that's kind of a housing thing. We don't have a ton of control over them, but you know, just saying, hey, we hope we don't have the same problems. I will definitely do that.
And Phil Hauser, can I share the QR code via email beforehand? Yes, I can, and I will do that very soon. I just shared also by email with everybody, if you have delegates coming, that the delegate manual is, I sent that to everybody in an email, and you can share that with your students, but then the students that are signed up to be delegates will all get a copy of that workbook once they get on campus and once they go to the delegate sessions. And we'll have extras in case you forgot to put somebody in the delegates that should be there, and they show up. Well, obviously we'll have extras for them as well. So, but yes, Phil, I'll try to see if we can send out that QR code. Work on that. See if we can get it out to you.
Right, that is all that I believe we have formally prepared. It's now your chance to continue asking any questions or raise any concerns that you have in anticipation of FFA convention in a few weeks.
Yeah, while you're thinking about questions, one more that I see McCara Price just listed, will state officer candidates go to meals as a group, or should we plan to have them with our chapters each day? So lunch will be brought in to them on Wednesday. The evening meals, Tuesday and Wednesday, they are free to go with their chapters. The nominating committee, we will take care of. They will go together as a group. Those 8 individuals that are serving on the nominating committee will actually be housed together, and the whole 9 yards there. So we'll take care of the nominating committee. The state officer candidates, of course, will be turned loose to go find their chapters and be with them when it comes to the meals. And then they will obviously have reserved seating at the sessions as well, just like we've always done. So seating will be a little bit tight as you're still thinking about all your questions that you want to get off your chest. And feel free to just to unmute and ask the questions instead of doing the chat. That keeps me from talking so much. But if you've never been to a convention session in Eisenhower Auditorium, it is quite a bit different than it is at the Bryce Jordan Center. I never realized the difference until I walked back into Eisenhower a couple of weeks ago and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going back in time. But we're going to try to make it the best we can for this 1 year. It is supposed to be a 1-year deal. And then
It's confirmed for the Jordan Center next year, so
good deal. So do
we
we
are
have dates
back
already
there.
confirmed? Do we have dates confirmed for the housing as well?
Yes.
We do.
I
Oh
mean,
my God.
yeah, they don't officially confirm until the November, but I sent them the date.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's the June 9 through 11, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet. You folks heard it here first. Good deal. Thank you, Mattie.
Mhm.
So yeah, so in Eisenhower, the bottom piece of Eisenhower, the auditorium piece without using the balconies, you're looking at about 1,700, I think it is, seats. 1,900 maybe. I don't remember. We will be using the balconies this year. So just please don't let students go up there by themselves. There needs to be adults in those upper balconies with those students, just to make sure that we're all safe and everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. So just kind of keep that in mind. In fact, all the award winners will be seated in the lower part of the auditorium. So they will not be up in the balconies. Most of the award winners, proficiencies, ag science awards, will be seated in the back of the auditorium. That way we can pull them out and take them down the hallway and into the backstage area without interrupting everybody down front. Your honorary and citation award recipients will be seated closer to the front, and we'll put them along the side so we can just pull them right straight out the door and then take them around to the back as well. So yeah, things will be a little different in Eisenhower. There's only 2 aisles in that whole auditorium. So please tell your students to fill in the middle. That's always a big problem, is trying to get everybody to move to the middle of those seats in the auditorium. I wish there were 3 aisles, but there's not. So we'll deal with it, and we'll make it the best that we can. So now, okay, your turn. Ask questions. Go, Mark.
Can you describe for us a little bit the way the CDE results will be announced on Thursday morning?
I can. If you haven't heard, we're actually going to give all the CDE chairs and LDE chairs a break this year from announcing all the results. We will have those results available to us on late Wednesday night, as always. Thursday, when we start that session, at some point, you're going to hear an announcement that the following individuals from wildlife, please report backstage to my right, your left. And then we'll ask for those students to come back. And then we're going to ask for another CDE to come. So we're still going to do it in reverse alphabetical order, just like we would if everybody else was announcing it. But we're going to start with asking 6 different events to come backstage and get lined up. And then we're going to do another segment on stage, and then we'll start into the presentation of awards. We're going to do 3 different categories, and then we're going to request 3 more groups to come backstage and line up to our right. So instead of having that lull period of time that we ask people to come to the stage and you guys would fill in with how many people you had in the contest and all the helpers and the sponsors and all that, we're still going to do some of that. But we're going to actually have them lined up backstage ahead of time. So that's our plan. And all good plans sometimes fall apart. So we have our fingers crossed that this is going to work. And in fact, I was just on a Zoom call this morning with our officers trying to go over that piece of it again. And we're going to be rehearsing it for the next 3 days this week, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll make sure that we try to get that underway. But that's what we're planning on doing. So when we start that session, we're just going to ask that everybody please listen. And if you hear your names called, please come on stage. And we want the advisors to come with them. So if you have a team that's called to come on stage from your school, come with them. Come up on stage with them and be there and join in the celebration. They do it at nationals. The team comes on, the advisor is always with them if they're on stage at nationals. So why not do it here? That's our hope, so that you can celebrate with them as well.
Okay.
I have a question. I was trying to find, I love hand maps. I'm better than on a phone. So I was trying to find a map. Is there one in the emails that you sent that I can print out?
I did not send one out. Mattie, John, is there one available that we could do that with?
Do they get those in the registration packets, correct, Mattie?
Yeah. And I think we can send it in the link with the parking information too.
Okay. So like prior to the event, so I can print it out.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because for me, technology always seems to glitch at that last possible minute. So I like having printouts. All right, thank you.
Yeah, great question, Kelly. Thank you.
I don't know that we've typically done this, but I can also send this PowerPoint out with the link to the recording. So you can take a look back at any of the maps that were highlighted during the webinar today.
That
then
would be great. Thank you.
If you want to look at it online, it's like map.psu.edu.
Okay. Yeah, the PowerPoint printouts would be great. Thank you.
Kelly, this will be your first time coming, right?
Oh yeah, since 1999. So it's gonna be
Very good. Very good.
But we're looking forward to it. I think I have everything lined up. At least I hope I do.
Good deal. Robin Bechtel, do parents coming to watch the session need a name tag to enter Eisenhower? Yes, they will. Just like last year, there was everybody that came into the Bryce Jordan Center needed a name badge. The same will apply this year at Eisenhower. We'll have some folks that will be set up, hopefully, if it's not raining, outside the front doors. If it's raining, they'll be either underneath that awning or inside the front doors. And if they're not registered, they will get them registered and print off a badge for them at that point. I'm assuming nobody's received a link to sign up guests. Does anybody receive that link to go online and sign up a guest? I know that we had it posted on social media, but it just dawned on me that I don't remember seeing that go out to all the teachers. So we're going to send that out to you. It's just a very short jot form. You go in and fill out the information with their email addresses, and then why they're actually attending. That question is asked, and which school they're associated with, just so that we kind of get an idea of who's coming, so we can be a little bit more safer about who we let into the building. I will make a note here to send that out to you. So when you get that, if you have parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anybody that wants to come and watch the sessions and watch their children and their kids receive awards, they're welcome to come do that. So yeah, we will get that out to them, so that, and if they're pre-registered, the name tags will be available for them once they show up. So Ayla Blatt, the advisor, should sit with the CDE they're assisting with in Eisenhower on Tuesday afternoon. Yes, please. Or yeah, in Eisenhower, you're probably going to have to sit. There's not a lot of room to stand. But then, yes, if you could then go with that event when they're dismissed, that would be wonderful. And we tried to seat them. That chart that I sent out today to everybody, I know that that's really hard to read, but we tried to seat them so that the first groups to be dismissed are in the back of the auditorium. So the first groups to be dismissed will be in the back, and the last group, which stays in the auditorium, is seated down front. So that's only for the Tuesday orientation session. When they come back for the Wednesday or Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday morning session, unless they're receiving an award, then there is no assigned seats for the majority of the students that are there just to compete. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's also my first time, and my other advisor, chaperone, I'm bringing in helping out with CDs. Are we going to have guidelines of what we're supposed to help, or where do we get that information? Anything ahead of time?
Alex, you want to answer this one?
Sure. So it'll be up to the chair of the event that you're helping with, how much information you get ahead of time versus how much information you get when you arrive. Chairs they have not received their final lists of volunteers yet, to my knowledge, because they can see the names in Sign Up Genius, but not the contact information. So, since you're newer, they're probably not quite familiar with who you are or where you are, and so they wouldn't have reached out to you just yet.
Okay.
Some chairs will send you everything in advance, and other chairs will have things ready for you when you arrive to help out. For a lot of our events, especially if they're 2-day, Tuesday is a little bit calmer. We have a few that have pretty big things on Tuesday, but for a lot of the events, Tuesday is written test, team event, little bit slower paced for you to get acclimated. And when I talk with the chairs on Thursday, I can certainly encourage them to send some things out to the people that have volunteered once they get that information, just to give a little bit of a heads up of what their pace will be, so you know what to expect.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
There was a question about getting to events from orientation and time. So the first events that we have scheduled are public speaking events, and they're scheduled to start at 1:30. If orientation starts at 12:30, the way we have it scheduled, everyone should be out of that auditorium by 1:15, 1:25, probably at the absolute latest. 1:30 probably at the absolute latest. Because we're just gonna dismiss them as quickly as we possibly can. So that should not be a problem. George Dietrich, is there a list of what happens in each session to help with planning? Would you like an agenda? Is that what you're looking for? If you could unmute and just answer me, George, that's fine.
Yeah, sure. That could work too. Yeah, because I've never seen any of these sessions and you're talking about this happens here and this happens here, and I don't understand any of this. So
Okay. Yep, I can try to put an agenda together for each session and send that out ahead of time as well. You bet. Appreciate the questions. We have a lot of new teachers, obviously, that are joining us, and sometimes us old people forget that. Well, gosh, everybody should know how to do that. So please feel free to ask away and tell us what we assume and we should not assume. So thank you.
Additional questions? Well, if anybody does think of something after we turn here today, please feel free to shoot myself or Mike an email about it, or call. Unfortunately for Mattie, usually either of us has to go to her for the answer. So she ultimately ends up answering a lot of this anyway, but if it is something that myself or Mike can answer, feel free to contact us after the day. And I guess I will put out there one final call for any questions.